Hello, where did you come from?
Hello there, I just wanted to give you an update on life with the Hyundai Kona. We've had it for a month. I want to talk a little bit about charging and some of the issues that I had, which have got nothing to do with the car, just in terms of getting a level 2 charger installed and living with a level 1 charger before that. And I'll also talk a little bit about the range, how accurate the range is. I did some filming last week as well of a trip, and I just wanted to show you that and give you an idea of how accurate this thing is in terms of guessing what your range is. And those of you that have been following these videos will know that we had a little bit of trouble getting the level 2 charger from Amazon. Originally we ordered a 40 amp charger. I did that just to make sure that if we got a vehicle that could accept a higher level of charging, we'd already have the charger, and it wasn't that much more expensive. It was supposed to come in 2 days. It said it was out for delivery. Then all of a sudden they said we can't find it, and it never turned up. And the supplier said it was Amazon's fault. Amazon said it was the supplier's fault. They couldn't send out another one. So finally we got a refund, and I ordered another one, and I actually decided to go for a cheaper one that was a 30 amp charger. It was $100 less, and I figured that would do the job. The Hyundai Kona has a 7.2 kilowatt onboard charger. 240 volts, that means it takes 30 amps. So a 30 amp charger is plenty. I think this one's actually rated at 32. I decided for a wall-mounted charger, really just for neatness. There are cheaper chargers which are portable level 2 chargers, which are basically a long wire with a transformer in the middle of it, and I figured that would be lying around the garage. It wouldn't be as neat. At the moment, you can see the one I bought is temporarily mounted. It actually comes with a holder for the cable and a little holster for the plug. It's very, very basic. You switch it on. It shows you the current amps. In this case, it's showing that it needs to be plugged in. It shows you the voltage, the number of kilowatt hours used, and the time used, and also the rating, which in this case is 32 amps. Also shows you the temperature, which is quite interesting. I felt having one with an on-off switch was a good idea. Some of them you can't switch off, and you know, basically it's just a transformer and some wire. So I guess any of them are good. Turning up, I had a 50 amp breaker put into our circuit board. We had enough space to put it in, and wiring run temporarily from one side of the garage to the other. There is no actual garage at the moment. Well, not much left of it. But in preparation for the new garage, we ran wiring up and over and put in an outlet just temporarily here in this framing until the new garage extension is finished. I looked at all the different chargers that were available, and there's a huge range of them, and the prices vary tremendously. There were some that were like $600-700 that had wireless control in them. I really didn't think that was necessary, given that you can control the car via the app or via the website. So the idea is you plug this into the car, you switch the charger on, and then the car will start charging when it wants to, and it'll stop when it wants to. So you really don't need any external control on these. So this is more than enough. I think it cost $400. And just to give you an idea of how much a level 2 charging system at home can work, it really depends on how far you have to route the wiring. In our case, I think we had 60 feet of wire on a 50 amp circuit. And the reason why it was a 50 amp circuit is that for a 40 amp charger, you need to have a 50 amp circuit so you can draw continuously 40 amps. So the breakers are the same no matter what rating they are. So we had that routed over. The routing was fairly straightforward, given that we were taking apart the garage, so we had pretty good access. All in all, it was $850 for the installation. Then, as I said, $400 for the charging station. And so you're expecting somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500 depending on how long you run it. Now, when you look at where the charger is, this is going to be in a perfect place for when the garage is finished. The Hyundai Kona charges at the front. This is where it's going to be parked. The station is going to be round about here, so it'll be easy to plug in. It comes with a 22-foot cable. So as you can see, with all this construction going on, there's no way I can actually plug in this charger to the car. The distance I've got to go is twice, if not 3 times, the length of the cable. So I actually ordered an extension cable. And the idea is I plug the extension cable in here. I can run that out to the car. And then I'll plug the charger in at the car, and I just place the charger underneath the car and then plug it in, and that works fine. I've done it a number of times. So the charging cable we got is big enough to jump start a jumbo jet. It's 50 foot long, 8 gauge, rated at 50 amps, so more than powerful enough. And the thing is, I'll probably only need to use it 5 or 6 times, and that was $120 on Amazon. And it was actually cheaper than the ones that were rated at 40 or 30 amps, so I figured it was worth going for. That was until I actually came to pick it up. So I was a little bit surprised when this arrived, and it had free shipping, and this thing weighs a lot. As you can see, it's not the most mobile of extension cables. But shame is, I'm not going to need it anymore after this this garage extension is done. So I bet I can find a use for it. So a few other noteworthy points to do with charging. First of all, for 10 days we survived with level 1 charging, just from the 110 outlet and the charger that comes with the car, and that was fine. You have to remember to plug it in every night. We charged from 8 p.m. when the lower rates start until the following morning. That gave us 40 or 50 miles of range, and that was fine for the amount of driving that we were doing. Admittedly, at the moment, given everything that's going on, we are driving less, but it was fine. So that worked fine until we got the level 2 charger. Once we got the level 2 charger, charging once a week, it is fine. After fully charging the car and setting off from home, and bear in mind we live on top of a small mountain, the car being fully charged could not accept any regenerative charging into the battery. So we actually got a warning one day that said, warning, no regenerative braking available, battery is full, which is interesting. It was good of them to tell you, and of course, if the bucket's full, you can't get any more water into it. But that means when you come off the accelerator, you don't get the same kind of braking that you normally would. And the other point to do with charging is, again, the integration with the navigation system. And it definitely does change the range based on where you're going. So I put Flagstaff in the navigation system. Flagstaff is about 2 hours north of here and at significantly higher altitude, and I wanted to see what kind of impact it would have on the expected range. The expected range was reading 135 miles, and when I put the navigation system on with Flagstaff entered, it actually reduced the expected range by 20 miles. That kind of surprised me, because I thought it would be more than that, given the amount of uphill that we would have to be doing. So we are actually going to be heading up in that direction in a couple of weeks. I'll give an update on that to see what the real life range is compared to the expected range. So despite what it says in the app, we have 291 miles of range. If we do the death drive and go into Eco Plus, and you hear the air conditioning switches off right away, 324 miles, but we're not going to do that. So we've done 60 miles and the range is now saying 244. So if we now switch to home, which is uphill,
range is now 234, allowing for the fact that it's uphill. Pretty cool.
We just completed a trip which was mostly highway of 124.7 miles, and it showed an average consumption of 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour, which is pretty much bang on where you need to be at for the stated range of the car. It's showing 53% battery left with a range of 155 miles. So let's say it was 125, that gives us a total effective range of 280 miles. That was predominantly highway driving at 75 miles an hour with the AC going, so I think that's pretty good. And we spent some time fiddling with the center screen, so I'm going to have to do a video on that. We found you can get the weather forecast on it. Really useful when you're driving. Get the 5-day weather forecast when you can only drive for 270 miles. Now what we found living where we are, that it's all downhill at the start and all uphill at the end coming home. The range changes very little as we go down the hill. So we can drive 10 miles and the range will be unaffected. Coming back, if you set the nav system to our home address, it does show a reduced range, but it seems to use that range significantly faster than its projection. When you look at what the expected range was before and at the end of the trip and compare that to the actual miles done, it's pretty much spot on. It just seems to be, while it's in the process, it doesn't seem to estimate it quite accurately. So I'm still trying to figure out what the algorithm is in terms of expected range, but so far our experience has been that overall on average it's pretty good, but I'm not sure if you have a big uphill trip how much you can trust the actual range. I'll do a trip on that and we'll update it. The car's going to be fully loaded with the dog bags, 2 of us, so we'll see what actually happens in real life. We hope you're enjoying these videos. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.